Now this story starts with this superstar of a diesel engine. From Fiat, this is the Multijet 1.3. It was so good that there were several manufacturers trying to get a slice of the action, and in India the first one to get it was Maruti Suzuki Swift. Of course, over here it was called the DDIS. It became a huge success. Later on, Tata and Fiat became bhai bhai, which is when the Indica Vista got the same 1.3 Multijet. Here, of course, it's called the Quadrajet. Later on, Maruti Suzuki came out with another small hatch, the Ritz. This too was blessed with the same 1.3 diesel engine. But finally, the car that owns that engine, for which it was practically created, the Grande Punto. It's here in India. And well, you'd think that it would be pretty easy to pick any one of these four cars since they have the same engine, right? But you'd be wrong. And we'll tell you why. Yeah, and the way they look surely has lots to do with it. The Swift has been around for ages, and despite its funky styling, it just bears the brunt of having been seen too many times. The Ritz wears a new age version of the Swift's funkiness, but it's less scary and it's more friendly. The Tata Indica Vista at times almost seems like an SUV that's trying to disguise itself as a hatch. Meanwhile, the latest entrant, the Grande Punto, seems to be a supercar that's been reproportioned to a hatchback. It's simply stunning and gets a whopping 10 stars here. On the inside, you have a wide range to choose from. You have the somewhat charming, energetic styling of the Ritz with its two tones and the pop-out rev counter. It also has a nice and airy cabin. The Swift in comparison seems like a prison cell. It feels dull and grey and very cooped up. Yet it's got just the right seating position for the driver, with enough space even for tall drivers. The Indica Vista manages to really stand out thanks to its central instrument console and the fresh feel airy interiors. But the car that dazzles you is the Punto. The Grande Punto Emotion Pack is seriously loaded. It's got climate control air conditioning, it's got the Blue and Me feature, it's got powered mirrors, it's got ABS, it's got airbags, the dash looks really nice, the plastics are nice quality, and the only issue is that the fit and finish is not really quite there. On the other hand, there's good space on the front, but the back seat again feels a little cramped. The Punto doesn't feel very grande, especially not at the back. The Swift also struggles with the backseat space and doesn't offer too much by way of equipment. The airy Ritz with the higher rear seats offers a better backseat experience than the Swift. If you're talking of space and comfort, really, the Tata Indica Vista is in a league of its own. It's got acres of space, lots and lots of space. Equipment level is pretty good too. The only thing is, the plastic quality is not all that great. So it's the equipment list that helps the Punto get 8 stars. Meanwhile, it's the combination of space and the loading that helps the Vista get 8 points too, while the Maruti siblings get 7 points each. Once on the road, the Maruti siblings with their lightweight construction managed to eke out a performance advantage. But of the two, it's the Swift that feels more responsive and peppy. Yet, you do need to make a fair amount of gear changes to keep the pace up. Meanwhile, tuning the Ritz for Bharat Stage 4 emission norms seems to have added a bit of turbo lag. Despite all that, the Swift and the Ritz are way quicker, managing to hit 100 km per hour from standstill in 13.87 and 15.18 seconds respectively. And incredibly, the car that runs at the back of the pack is Fiat's very own Punto. Its 1,190 kilograms of curb weight means it uses shorter gearing, but still the Punto just doesn't feel responsive. And even when the turbo boost kicks in, its response seems to be muted compared to the other multi-jets here. The Indica also impresses with a quieter cabin thanks to the use of more sound insulation. Now this is quite a surprise. When it comes to the engine, it's the Tata Indica Vista that's impressing us the most. This engine may not have the flat-out acceleration of the Swift, but when it comes to drivability, it really is quite good. In the city, it'll crawl around without much of a hassle. You don't need to change gears all that much. And even when you're out on the highway, it cruises quite comfortably. So in the engine and performance stakes, the Grande Punto suffers, while the Ritz deserves 7. The Swift and the Vista canter ahead with 8 stars. Even when it comes to the ride comfort, it's quite a range. The Swift's sporty setup means that it rides over the rough stuff pretty well, but with a sporty firmness that can leave you a bit shaken. The Ritz, with its softer suspension and comfort focus, tends to soak up the bumps a whole load better. The Vista's ride also soaks up the bumps brilliantly, leaving you nice and comfy. It really would have been the best ride here if it weren't for the Fiat. Driving around in the Grande Punto, you'd really be quite comfortable thanks to the superb suspension. It glosses over all the rough stuff. It hardly ever lets anything come through at low speeds, even more so, and then at higher speeds. The nice damping to the suspension means things are really quite composed and comfy. The McPherson struts at the front and the twist beam at the rear seem to have been tuned by God himself. Such is the ride of the Punto, worthy of 10 stars. The Indica comes in next with 8 stars, and the Ritz is 1 point ahead of the Swift with 7. Every once in a while, you will want to push your car around a corner and revel in the thrill of the G-forces. In which case, the Ritz is not the car for you. Its tall stance and soft suspension means you have quite a bit of body roll and an eagerness for the rear to step out of line. The Indica too feels quite woolly. The huge car doesn't feel sharp when cornering like the Swift. The Swift continues to thrill in this department. The punch from the engine, the low seating and the grip from the VD tires adds to a fair amount of involvement. But then the Punto pulls out another trump card. Now, when I first drove the Fiat Linea, I was really impressed with the way it handles. And since the Grande Punto is based on the same platform, it's only to be expected that this car should handle really well. And well, it does. The Grande Punto has lots of grip. You can go around corners, nice and solid. The steering feels really great too. It's nice and chunky to hold as well. But the thing that lets you down in all of this is the engine. It just feels sluggish. Maybe Fiat should also pick up the 90 bhp diesel engine from the Linea and drop it in the Punto. That would really make things better. So once again, the Punto strikes the competition dead with 10 stars, with the Swift snapping at its heels. The Ritz and the Vista stray behind. The fuel efficiency figures are very tightly packed, and in that huddle is the Marutis that prove to be least thirsty. The Ritz returns the highest fuel efficiency with 15 km per litre in the city and 17.9 out on the highway. The Swift's 14.4 and 17.1 is just a little way off. Fiat's Punto comes with 13.7 and 17.5. The Vista's 13.6 in the city and 16.7 on the highway are by no means bad, but they are the lowest of this lot. The Punto squares off lots of brownie points thanks to its price tag. At Rs 7.1 lakh for the Emotion Pack, it is the most expensive car here by over a lakh. But it comes armed with a 2-year unlimited mileage warranty. The Ritz costs a shade under 6 lakhs, as does the Swift. Both cars sport a 2-year 40,000 km warranty. But the car that makes a serious case for itself here is the Vista. Its price tag hovers around the 5.5 lakh mark, and it includes a 2-year unlimited mileage warranty. So which one is it? So how do things stack up in the end? Well, we have the Italian flair and ingenuity, and then we have the Japanese giants with the precision, engineering and value offering against the Desi dude. And you'd be surprised because we really were, that it's in fact the Desi dude, the Tata Indica Vista, that comes out on tops over here. Why? Well, it's got lots of space on the inside, its ride is really comfortable. If you want something sporty, you could go for the Grande Punto, which is really quite good to drive, or the Swift. But as an overall package, the Vista, with its level of equipment, its comfort, its pricing, is really the car that checks off all the boxes for us.